Welcome back to The Standard. After immigrating from Germany and working a variety of different jobs, John Volken built United Furniture Warehouse into a North American-wide chain of 148 stores. In 2004, he sold the furniture empire and started a new venture called the Welcome Home Society. The organization was created to help addicts go clean and then relearn practical job skills through residential treatment centers. John Volken joins me in studio. Thank you for joining us. Before we talk about Welcome Home, let's get a little bit about your background, because I think it's relevant. I suspect it's relevant to why you decided to do this work now. You were actually an orphan at one point during your childhood, correct?
Well,
is that maybe not the right term?
Not quite an orphan. My mother was in the hospital. My father died during the war, and there were three of us, three kids, and we were all in different places. And I ended up in an orphanage. Now, when people ask me, or when I tell them an orphanage, you usually, oh, poor fellow. Actually, it was a great time. I had 30 brothers. You know, it was a riot, really. Yeah,
you've described your time in the orphanage as really a high point of something that really helped form who you are. How is that?
Well, it was, I don't know how much it formed me, but it was, I was there only about 6 months. But I remember really enjoying it.
Mm-hmm. So you ended up in Canada when you were 18, right?
Yes.
And did you come here with money, with a job? I mean, how?
No. You know, when you're 18, you just want to leave. Everything is too small. And I came here, and I thought I was going to get a chainsaw and cut trees down, because that's all I heard about it. About Canada.
That's what everybody knew about Canada.
Right, that's right. And but instead, I started, as soon as I was in control of the language, I started selling. I became a salesman, and then a sales manager, and then I started several businesses, and I traveled, and I didn't really know exactly what I was going to do.
Right. I mean, I heard that a German woman had met you and initially helped you get a job at a picking cauliflowers.
Oh,
right.
How did
this is early on.
That's right.
But I mean, what's interesting about it is that you seem to display a real entrepreneurial streak right from the beginning. You were picking cauliflowers during the day, but sleeping just a few hours because you'd also sell it, right?
Well, no, that was later on. That was later when I was starting meat business. No, that was somebody. I found this job. This lady found a job for me, and she said, It's in the fall of '96. There were a lot of unemployment, and they took me to a farm. And the farmer said, "Well, I don't really have a job, but you look like a nice young man, and as long as you do some work in the fall, and then we keep you here in the wintertime, and we can pay you for it." I was just happy to have a bed to sleep in, and have food to eat.
So at one point you went to the States. You were en route to Mexico. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
And you ended up in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I wanted to stay there for a couple of days.
How old were you?
I was 2 years. I stayed there 2 years. I was 23. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I met somebody from Mexico, and they said, "Oh, come on down here. It's easy living. It's great." So I thought, Mexico, here I come. Mm-hmm. I never made it.
Right.
I stayed in Las Vegas for 2 years.
Is that where you first encountered the Mormon Church?
Yes.
So how did that come about?
Well, I was single, and met this young lady, and she invited me home and said, the parents asked me, "Do you mind if you tell you something what's very important to us?" Well, there was a food to eat, and I wanted to eat, and I thought, sure. Mm-hmm. And I thought maybe it's Amway or Fuller Brush or something, mm-hmm. because they had a nice house. And so I was there, and he told me about the church. And I always believed in life after life. There was a God and so on. Didn't much think about it, though. But and as time went on, I take it almost serious.
Right.
I believe there's a God. In fact, I think I know.
Yeah. And do you consider yourself a Mormon now?
Yes.
You do. Has that guided what you're doing right now in terms of Welcome Home?
Well, perhaps. I believe that, once you take care of your family and your loved ones, you are to work for the good of all. Mm-hmm. And whether it's amateur sports or going to public office or politics or the arts and so on, I've been motivated by Matthew 25, where it says, what you done unto the least of these, my brethren, you done unto me. And, you know, you should take that serious. You're just bound to do something to those people who want to help themselves but can't at the present time.
Well, I want to spend some time talking about Welcome Home in a moment, but maybe before we go to a break, you can tell us a little bit about how United Furniture Warehouse came about. I think most Canadians, I would almost say all Canadians, know United Furniture Warehouse, particularly because of the jingle. The jingle is so catchy. Everyone knows this jingle. And I actually heard that you sort of bought this jingle on a whim, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
This wasn't like a well-researched kind of marketing scheme.
No, it wasn't. You know, I wanted to start something like eBay. You know, I thought having United. It started out with United Buy and Sell Service. Right. I want to get buyers and sellers together.
eBay many years before the internet.
Right, and not that I'm an expert at it.
Right.
But I thought, you know, maybe somebody in New York's looking for a certain printing press, and somebody in Vancouver has it, and get buyers and sellers together. But I started out with estate sales, and it was just a small store.
So you went to estate sales, bought the things being sold, put it in your store, and figuring someone will come and buy it.
And I always thought, no, not going to be used furniture. It's going to go the eBay sort of thing. But maybe somebody told me, no, it's going to be furniture because I couldn't get away from it. And then from used furniture, become new furniture. And then after 3 years, I said, no more used furniture, and it was all new furniture. And a bit of a story to it. But the jingle kind of interesting.
So how did that
it's kind of interesting. You know, this fellow came to me and said, you know, what you need is a jingle. And I said, yeah, the last thing I need is jingle. I need to sell a sofa so I can pay the rent next month, you know. And he convinced me of it. And I said, and he said, look, if you don't like the jingle, you don't have to pay for it. And I thought, you got it.
That's a good deal.
Good deal. So he left. I'd forgotten all about it, and he came back with a jingle. So
can you sing the jingle?
Yeah. Well, it's actually a whole story.
The last
who got the last one is United Furniture Warehouse. Boom, boom.
Boom, boom.
Right.
The boom, boom is what's everyone remembers.
That gets you, eh? But then he came back, and I said, there's certain things I don't like. And he said, oh, you know, people don't have an idea about jingles, and they want to change things. And I said, well, I don't like it. You said, if I don't like it, I don't pay for it. So he took it back. And he came back and said, you know, you got a point there. It sounds better now. And so what did I do? I paid for it. And put
was it $1,000?
Actually, it was a little bit less. I put it in the bottom of my door and said, well, you know, don't need it. But then later on, we wanted to redo this jingle because from United Buy and Sell Service became United Furniture Warehouse. And the fellow that sang the jingle said, I wouldn't do it for $1 million because every time I hear this jingle, it bugs me because there's no royalty, you know. And because the fellow that went to him to tell him about the jingle said, look, the second-hand store, small store, don't worry about it, do me a favor. And he paid him $50 for it, you know, anyways. And, yeah, I'm glad you had it.
Yeah. Well, you sold United Furniture Warehouse to the Brick a few years ago and used that money to help found a number of charities. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. More with John Volken of the Welcome Home Society when the Standard returns.